Hey, good morning, sports fans. It's Louis Diamond here in our Las Vegas handicapping studios, and we have some college football for you today. Last Saturday, Tony G busted out a 5-2 record for you right here on this show. So, back with us here today. He's got a lot of plays for us. If you've been following us, you've been cashing some tickets. If you've been following the college basketball, woo, baby, cashing tickets. So hopefully you have been following us. If you haven't, please subscribe below, either on Facebook at BettorCenter.com or on YouTube at Louis Diamond, and get our plays as soon as they come out. So, and now they are about to come out, and let's welcome the man himself, Mr. Tony Gulledge, the great white capper. How are you today, Tony?
Hey, good to see you, Lou. It's been a minute since last weekend. Been crazy on my end, but I'm glad to be able to settle down, relax, and be here for the Saturday show. Let's get some winners going.
Exactly. Beautiful. Excited about what we got going on here today, and let's get right down to it. But before I get right down to it, just want to let you know my college basketball system. Right on the number again, 6-4 last night, right at 60%. Nice. 70 winners, 50 losers right now. So free plays out there on the BettorCenter at the Facebook. It's the only place you're getting them right now. You have to go to the Facebook page, BettorCenter.com. I believe I got a lot of plays there today. So plenty of action for you today. So had 10 of them yesterday, 6-4, 70 winners. 50 losers. We're cashing tickets, guys. So, and I see the numbers come up every day. More and more people are watching. So I know you guys are following. I appreciate that. We just want more followers. Let's keep it going. All right. So now that being said, Mr. Gulledge, let's get started at the first game on the board here for us today. And that will be with the Clemson Tigers. And they got the hokey dokey. And see if they're going to do the hokey pokey. And they are minus 21.5. Now it's up to little 22s out there. Not much movement there. 66.5 up to 67. Not a lot of action going on this game, or if it is, it's two-sided. So I want to hear what your thoughts are, Tony. What do you got?
Clemson, Lou, I think we were definitely on them last time against Pittsburgh. An absolute crushing win. Basically easy money. And like I said, I'm going to continue with this flow that Clemson is the team out there with a chip on their shoulders. They had to lose to Notre Dame with their star players on the sidelines, healthy, wearing a mask. Dabo didn't like that. Dabo didn't like going to Florida State, traveling, then having the game canceled. They came back, crushed Pittsburgh. Word is that Dabo's still not a happy guy, and his team is fired up. You look at this Virginia Tech team, defense has not been great all year long, and they got crushed by the Pittsburgh team that Clemson crushed. So, if you just wanted to use transitive property, which we know doesn't apply, that would definitely show a clear edge for Clemson. But you look at the Virginia Tech home games of late, they lost 25-24 to Miami, which looks good, but they were a 2-point favorites. And then as a 17-point favorite, they lost straight up to Liberty, a game we had here on the show also. Just like the flow of this Clemson team, I find Virginia Tech to be defenseless. Clemson is motivated. They're not just going to look to win. They're going to look to win with their foot on your throat. And I don't think Dabo's really in a mood to let up much toward the end. He might put in backups, but I can promise you he's going to be playing those backups as though they're taking starter snaps. So Virginia Tech, I think, is just going to set up to get a beating here today. And I really like Clemson to get the job done, cover this number.
Not worried about that extra hook on the 21.5? No.
That's not even, Lou. I mean, we're talking like 30-point game. My numbers isn't more closer to 30 than 20. So, yeah, this is like I don't see that really being an issue at all.
That 21.5 was just ripped right off the board, Tony. Pinnacle was the only one still hanging the number. And as you said it, Pinnacle moved. Boy, oh boy, Tony, You're starting to get a little
boy.
All right. All right. On this game, I have a few different trends to offer you. A couple of them aren't going to be in your favor, but I don't think they're that demanding or that critical. But they are 6-1. The Hokies 6-1 as an underdog. 4 straight covers as a home underdog. Not a very big sample, but they're a little bit warm in that area. At 5-2 at home, but they are 5-12 against the number, following an ATS loss. So usually back-to-back bad games for them. So maybe that'll happen there today for Virginia Tech. And obviously, no matter where you look at Clemson, you're going to get a positive number, except for their last 10 games, 3-7 against the spread. That's a little worrisome. So Tony thinks the gears are going to get kicked up. It is getting towards the end of the season. And let me see if I got anything for Clemson in December. Oh, I do. 11-1, their last 12 games against the spread in December. So end of the season, this is a good spot for them. And Dabo has done the job. All right, so let's move on to our next play today. And I believe that's going to be Georgia Tech, the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. And they are at the Wolfpack of NC State. The line opened up 8.5. We're down to 6.5. The total got some steam. 63.5 was the original number. Now we're down to 59.5. There's still some 60s out there. So we got some steam on the under and a little bit of steam on Georgia Tech. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, I think this is a spot for NC State to play a clean game, get a win. I think you get in a little bit of a soft line. I think this would be more in the 7-10 range as opposed to under 7. If Georgia Tech hadn't put up a big number in their last game, they crushed Duke. I think they scored a ton of points. NC State, just a better defensive team and better offensive team. So better all-around team. You got them. They did not put away Syracuse. So I think that also with the Georgia Tech win helps put this in a better spread for this game. Last week, the quarterback for Syracuse spiked the ball on 4th down with a chance to maybe tie the game. It was a crazy finish, but NC State did hold on to win for their 3rd straight win. Noted also they had the 15-14 win against Liberty to hang the first loss on Liberty. They didn't cover the spread there. So you've got a couple straight games where NC State has won but not covered. And for me, that's kind of an angle I like. I like to see a team not quite making perception, but still getting the job done. Eventually, the line value goes your way. I think this is a spot here. Georgia Tech is struggling. I mean, you got to stop their little offensive game that they can do, but it's hit or miss. And when they're playing better teams, it's more missed. The only times they've really put up big numbers are against not very good teams. They haven't shown up against the better teams. And although NC State's not, top tier, they are, a decent little squad. They took out Liberty. They've played some good games this year. And I think this is a spot for them just to get a clean home win. Expect NC State to get about the backdoor cover miss will be, in about a 10-point game. NC State by 10 today.
NC State by 10 today. All right, you have a couple things that are working against you. A couple things working for you in the game, but NC State not doing well as a favorite. 3-7 against the number. 3-9 against the number following an ATS loss. There's a couple little trends that are working against you. Can't really find much positive for Georgia Tech. 7-16 against their number. The last 23. 2-9 versus a team with a winning record, and 0-7 following a straight-up win, so they really can't put back-to-back wins together.
I kind of remember that with Georgia Tech late. When they win a game, they've shit the bed. I don't have them specifically like you, but I know from a rolling Rolodex in my head that when they've won, yes, they haven't done crap, and that just confirms that. What was that, 0-9 you said? What was the number following a straight-up win?
0-7.
0-7. There you go. So perfect. That feeds right into this. That once they win, it cuts the line down. So the line, and NC State, like I said, 3-7. So they've won a couple games here lately that's fed into that trend. But I think that's where the line meets perception, and I think today's a good chance to get a good win. We'll see how it plays out. I like NC State.
Yeah, Georgia Tech, they've been dabbling in the zigzags a little too much. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
They've been zigging and zagging and twisting. All right, so next game on our schedule, we'll go with the what was supposed to be probably a little bit closer of a game, maybe, but probably not. Ohio State minus 23.5. They're at Michigan State, and the total is 59. And I'm trying to see if I got any movement, a little bit of movement on Michigan State right now. So there are some 20. There's a 22 that was just hung out there by Bet Online Sportsbook. So a little bit of movement there on Michigan State, not much. And I'm trying to get my, here we go. All right, so what do I have? Well, I'll tell you what, Buckeyes, 36-16, the last 52 on the grass. Tough team to be betting against, laying 23.5 points. You know, I'm not afraid to lay it. Obviously, you weren't with the last game. Spartans 6-16 against the number. Their last 22 overall. And I could only see an Ohio State play here today. 6-2 for Ohio State at Michigan State the last 8 games. Tell me you're on Ohio State, or tell me why we're not doing that.
Well, Lou, I want to tell you that this is going to be my bookie buster play for today. Ohio State at Michigan State. You got Michigan State coming in off the upset win against Northwestern. Who expected that from Michigan State? 29-20 against Northwestern. Ohio State had a game canceled that after the failure to cover against Indiana. So you have that working. And you also have the Ohio State. The committee's basically saying with less games played, then the eye test does matter. So, they're sending the signal to a team like Ohio State, Texas A&M, any of these teams that are trying to, get into that 3rd and 4th spot in the playoffs. They're going to have to look the part because you're not getting comparable schedules. Ohio State might end up playing 5 games here. This might be the last game they play, the way the Big Ten is shaking down here. So, and they need a good big performance. And like I say, Michigan State, straight up winners against a Northwestern team that had been dominant up to that point. Lou, you like Ohio State? You want to know who I like? Get the bookie buster. Transparency and straight up front. They've been 3-4 the last 7, but 8-4 overall on these bookie bets. 67%. I believe in quality over quantity, and I really like this play. If you want to know who I've got and why I've got them, that plays up at the BettorCenter.com site now. Please take advantage of it. I feel really strong this play is going to cash, so don't miss out on a big winner. BettorCenter.com for that play. That is my bookie buster today, Luke.
All right, Tony. Listen, I didn't, I said I could only think of Ohio State as being the play. I'm not on it, but it seems to me to be the only way to roll. But sounds like you got something going here that's cooking, and I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to go look in and see what you got. I haven't looked yet. But listen, 67%. Come on, guys. There's a guy cashing some tickets. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. No, 2 out of 3 is fucking amazing, guys. Hopefully it'll continue.
That's what I call. Hey, Lou, that's what I call it. When I'm on that clip, when I'm hitting 2/3 of my bets, I call it the meatloaf. So that's my nickname for doing it. And that's like carrying sacks of money out when you're doing the meatloaf, dude. If you're meatloafing for a month, you're making jack. So yeah, I love to do the meatloaf. I love the reference. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Right. So right now we are running at meatloaf, and my meatloaf is just a little rare in the college basketball, but I got the quantity going, 120 some games in, and we're hitting at 60%. I'm damn proud of that record, and hopefully that will continue. How do we know? Until they play the games. All right, so let's hit our next game on the schedule, Tony. Let me see who that will be. Nebraska and Purdue. Oh, it's our Eugene. We need to get a big, graphic, and we got our angle of the day. This is our angle of the day. So all I got to do is find out where the hell I put it so I can read it to you. And Eugene, please put her on the screen. And oh no, did I not update the page? Holy smokes. Give me a second. All right, so while I figure out that angle of the day that we can put out on the screen, Tony, what are your thoughts on Nebraska and Purdue?
Okay, you get the Nebraska team. I actually had this as an action play last week. I just bit, what do you want to call it? Hold your nose, bite the bullet, and took Nebraska in the points. I think the day after Thanksgiving, and they did. It was an ugly game, ugly performance. But Iowa at home, we know from how we've discussed Iowa many times on this show. At home, I don't trust them laying those kind of points, and they didn't cover. So you got Nebraska with the perception. 1-4 Nebraska team got the cover. Purdue, on the other hand, 3 straight losses now for Purdue, and last one was disgusting, the 37-30 home loss to Rutgers. And I was looking to see what the spread was. It's not showing it. So that they're not been looking good. So you got Purdue coming out, and you know how I love this, Lou, when you get a home team with a spread like this, where it otherwise, if last week had not played out the way it did, Purdue's a 3.5-point favorite today instead of 1.5. So you're getting a point on each side. I love that. Nebraska, I would not count on them. Basically, you're saying they're going to come in here and get a road win, and I don't see it. Purdue, after 3 straight losses, they're going to get an opponent they can beat, and they will beat them. Purdue gets to win against Nebraska today.
All right, Tony. Well, you seem to be in alignment with our angle of the day. So,
Nice.
yes, before I even get into the angle, I got to believe Purdue's a hell of a spot as well. So we have an alignment
They're
here,
just a
guys.
better team, Lou. There's a better team that's been lost 3 straight. As a gambler, I go against perception. And I know these kids are looking for a spot to win, and this is the one, and the line is basically nothing. It's worked this way all 1.5. Thank you. Some people look at that and are scared of that. I'm not that guy. I know how I play the games, and I love this spot. So let's see what this angle has to say. I want to hear what you got.
All right. Before I get into the angle, Cornhuskers 4-10 against the number their last 14 games, but 4-12-2 against the number of their last 18, following an ATS win 2-6 on the road. So a lot of things against the Cornhuskers right out of the gate. Now, Eugene, put up that angle of the day. All right. Purdue is coming off that 37-30 home loss to Rutgers, which dropped their season to 2-3. Nebraska enters this game with a 1-4 record. Now, that being said, any college football home team, which is Purdue today, with a win percentage of 250 to 400, and they are coming off a loss by 7 points or fewer. Excuse me.
Wow.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. Thank you. Woo. Sorry about that. Okay, so where the heck was I? After coming off 250, 400, after coming off a loss of 7 points or fewer versus an opponent with a losing record, that's Nebraska, resulted in those home teams going 44-3 straight up since 1991. Now, of course, we're laying 2 points here today. So the straight up betting angle takes on more importance because it supports a home favorite of less than a field goal. The chances of that team winning by 1 or 2 points isn't impossible, but it's definitely highly probable, or highly improbable. So you got that little 2-point edge that takes you away from this angle, but you got a nice opportunity to just buy them on the money line. So
now that's the perception, Lou. I like, and basically what that angle says is kind of the philosophy I'm using. You're getting a better team that just has a bad streak, 2-3, 40% against a losing opponent. Perception-wise, the only thing that's not in there, I wonder, is if that losing opponent is off an ATS win. I'd love to see that little caveat thrown in there to see what numbers spit out. So you already know you're 39-3. Give me the opponent, that losing opponent that covered there, like Nebraska did in their last game. And I bet you get like a really pretty number. And yeah, I just feel like it's a great spot for Purdue, right? I mean, with that angle and just a handicapping philosophy, it just looks like, we might all end up being suckers. There's no guarantees in life or gambling, that's for damn sure. But you're really not going to find a better spot to play Purdue than this. If you're, really think about that. When are you going to find a better spot to play them than this?
Well, there you have it, guys. Purdue. That is your alignment play of the day. And it's also the angle of the day. We got to work on some graphics. All right. Next game on the schedule will be Florida. They're minus 17.5. They are at Tennessee. The total is 62.5. And the Gators will come into this game 7-2 against the number after allowing less than 170 yards in their passing in their previous game. So they do cover when the defense keeps the passing game down. And actually the same thing when they give up less than 275 yards a game. So could be a spot here for the Gators. 3-1-1 against the number overall, but this is the big one here. 31-14 against the number. The last 45 games as a road favorite. That's a little shocking to me because they're not that dominating like the Spurrier years. So, but road favorite is a spot for Florida. Tennessee 0-5, their last 5 overall. So you're not going to get anything good with them. And 3-9 as a home dog. So 17 points too many or not enough? What are you thinking here, Tom?
Yeah, Lou, I like Florida in this spot. I think you're getting a fair price against a team that has just been totally rancid. You mentioned the 0-5, and it's been worse at home. The comparable here, Alabama 48-17 in Tennessee. Just when we had Alabama that game, just a crusher. Same, they got crushed by Kentucky. That's when I knew something was wrong with Tennessee because I really liked them in that game against Kentucky earlier in the season. And that's when their quarterback just kept throwing interception after interception. And it's Garantano, or whatever that kid's name is. It was just the only thing Garantano is you're going to lose if you back that guy. Florida defensively, I think
guaranteed Mo.
Yeah, I guarantee you're going to lose Mo if you bet on them today. I think Florida's defense is what's going to carry and this Trask kid pushing for a Heisman, maybe, just maybe. He's really put up some good numbers for a Florida offense that hadn't been viewed as a juggernaut. Now they're kind of, this season, all of a sudden, they're really putting up numbers. The only slip was that A&M game early in the year. And since then, Florida's just turned it on. And I love these kind of games, even with the hook. I think the hook is to entice somebody to bet on Tennessee, Lou. I mean, when they give you like Clemson 21.5 or, Florida 17.5, I think they're trying to entice a few bets on the dog in a spot where I just do not think Tennessee is going to be able to hang here. I think Florida puts up their 40-ish, 40-something, and Tennessee's going to be struggling. It's going to be like perhaps a fluke possession where they get, a short field. I just don't see Tennessee having any kind of sustained drives like I've mentioned with the Wisconsin-Michigan game where I didn't see Michigan, and they really didn't. Kind of the same thing here. Tennessee's going to struggle to do anything offensively. If Florida's going to have their way, I just like Florida, in the 25 to 30 range, Lou. This is one of my better plays today. I really do like Florida in this spot. I think they're going to kick the shit out of Tennessee.
All right. I will agree with you here as well. I mean, it just kind of makes sense that this is a spot. A lot of points to lay on the road, no doubt. And if you're at the 17.5, you're crossing a key number. But those are all the
Florida
things
still has a chance at this playoff thing, Lou. There's, the best efforts you get from these guys when, from the college bowl positioning is from these teams that are just outside. It always seems to be like the teams that are outside trying to look in because they know that if they're going to be ready to take, wait for the other team to falter, they need to be looking good at the same time. Taking advantage of the opportunities to get the eye test, like the committee members have said. That's literally the words out of their mouth. Eye test. So what does eye test mean? That means putting up points. That means clamping down on defense, and that means big margins of victory. And when they tell you you kind of need that, you can assume that the coaches are going to impart that information to their players, and they're going to come out attempting to give that kind of performance. Big numbers, big ass beatings. So 17.5, just while it's a big number, I grant it, Lou. I mean, it's 17.5, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's just simply not going to be enough today.
All right. Good stuff, Tony, because you are, I mean, you are, it seems like you've really kind of lined this one up fairly well, and makes a lot of sense. And when they go from 17 to 17.5, and now we got some 18s clipping out there, I mean, they went off the key number, and they're not afraid to on the road. So that's big. So
Tennessee has just been
favorite on the road, crossing the key
Look
number.
at Tennessee's games. Look at Tennessee's performances this year. Their worst games have been at home. The worst efforts they put up this year have been in front of sparse crowd. This is a team that usually relies on that 100,000 people in the stands. It's one of the biggest environments in Knoxville there is in the country.
Right.
And when you got like 8,000 people, it's like playing in a mausoleum, dude. It might actually hurt them. It certainly doesn't help.
I would have to agree with you there. So, all right. So we got a lot of love here on Florida minus the 17.5. And so let's get over to our next game so we can get them all in here today. And now we got a Big Ten matchup with some Cheeseheads and some Hoosiers. And the Hoosiers, got to say, respectable season. And now they face a team that's 15-5 following a bye week. So, and a team that really has kind of had their way against them. 5 straight covers for Wisconsin, 4 straight at home. And the favorite has covered 5 straight, but obviously Wisconsin. So I see some overing here in this matchup. I definitely see some over. I got to play on the over here today. So, and but before I get you into my over numbers, what are you thinking on the side here, Tony? I think it's a tough
I'll
one.
make this one quick, Lou. I think Indiana, they impressed me with winning in that flat spot against Maryland. I thought for sure, I thought that was a tough spot for them, and they covered. What did we take Maryland at plus 12 last week? They beat them 27-11. So that earned my respect because I really thought that was going to be a bad handicapping spot for Indiana, and they overcame it. Wisconsin, the Northwestern game, we kind of knew. I think we were all kind of all on Northwestern there, I do believe. So I just like the points here. I'm going to trust Indiana now that their offense, even if it gets down to garbage time and they're trailing, that this Penix kid will just keep firing away to the final gun. I'll take the 13 points and feel pretty good. I'll make the number here, Lou.
I think we got another lineman here, Tony. I can see that Indiana's not a team you want to reckon with this season, and you're grabbing double digits. I'm going to take a little flyer with that, but I'm definitely rolling on the over in this game as Indiana.
Yeah, he
10-2
put up 500 passing yards on Ohio State. Most of that in the second half, but that's a lot of yards. That just tells me he's going to keep firing, And
let me tell you something. Look at this total, 44.5. I don't know.
Is it the weather? That is a low number, Lou. That's suspiciously low. Yeah, I don't think Wisconsin's going to be able to hold down Indiana, and Indiana's not really known for holding anybody down either. So I agree that the environment for this game would be to score point. All thing I could think of is if it's like a cold rain with wind or something. But even then, 44.5 is suspiciously low.
It definitely seems suspiciously low. We got a 37-degree game. We got 2-mile-an-hour winds, and I don't think there's any kind of downpours, but they're expecting.
Yeah, that sounds brisk, but nothing out of the ordinary for this time of the year. That's not bad.
Yeah, I don't know how I hold back on this over here today. Really take the rubber band off, guys. Take the rubber band off, and let's send it into the window. Indiana and Wisconsin over 44.5. So that definitely seems like a little winner for you. And if you want more winners, guys, they're out there. They're on BettorCenter.com. And you see Tony's got his plays out there today. Ross is out there with some action today. Chip has some action today. Lots of good plays out there. I read through Ross and Chip's, and I was convinced. And I'm piggybacking one of them here today because I think he's spot on. I'm not going to tell you who, but I can tell you this. One of those plays in that package there today, I think cash is really, really big. So please take a stop by BettorCenter.com while you enjoy a little coffee with us as we talk about the games. And don't forget, on YouTube, Louis Diamond will get you this. If you subscribe, will pop up on your phone no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. I'll pop up on you. All right. All right, so let's get on to our next game. We got a couple more games before we bring our man on the street. We want to bring Tony. Hasn't been around in a while, so looking forward to him. He's at the TCU Okie State game today. He's trying to get a parking spot right now, trying to line us up so we can get a live report, and we'll get to that in a minute. We still got some college basketball plays coming up, but let's just cover a couple more football games. Iowa, minus 13.5. There's that road favorite. Iowa's a road favorite. Got the feeling you're coming at me with Iowa today. And they are at home, on the road at Illinois. And 13.5. Did I pick you off here, Tony? Are we going with, are you rolling with Iowa here today?
Yeah, this has got Iowa written all over it, Lou, especially, like I said, was able to dip in and get Nebraska last week at Iowa. Just loved it, plus 13. So now Iowa didn't cover last week at home, going back to where they just keep covering over and over again on the road. 13.5 against an Illinois team, 2 straight wins after looking horrible. So the perception has been established that Illinois is a more competitive side when they're really not. The 2 wins, Rutgers, Nebraska, come back home. I love this spot, love the situation. This is another one where it couldn't line up any better. Guarantee a win? Of course not. But, that's what gambling is. I'm looking for my spots, man. I'm looking down a huge list of games. I'm looking for my best opportunities to pick the winners. And this is just like feeding me. This is like spoon feeding me. I love Iowa's on the road, and you get Illinois off 2 straight wins. Perfect spot. Give me Iowa. Why not? Somebody tell me why not take them.
Okay, then I will take you up on that offer because I can't agree with you.
Tell me why not.
Well, I'm going to tell you some reasons to be a little cautious. Let's put it that way. I mean, as you know from the beginning of the season, I was kind of an Illinois fan. Not a fan that they're going to be great, but they find ways to cover lately. They've been turning this little program around. They're big underdogs. And they cashed that ticket for us when they beat Nebraska outright. Cashed a nice $5.50 money line ticket there. So
yeah, I like them there too. I was with everybody there. I like the Illini against Nebraska. That was more of a Nebraska fade than a full-throated endorsement of bless you over there, Lou. Yeah, that was more of a fade on Nebraska than a full-throated endorsement of Illinois. I just thought it was ambitious for Nebraska to be that kind of favorite against anybody. And, yeah, Illinois just kicked their teeth in. So, yeah, we were there. We agreed on that. And but my perception of them is not going to change based on the fact that they did what I thought they could do, if you follow that crazy logic.
All right. Well, in this scenario here, the Illini 5-0. Their last 5 after a straight-up win. So they do play back-to-back games well, so they don't fall asleep there. 4-1 versus a team with a winning record. So they've been playing good teams fairly well. 6-2 against the number following that ATS win. So they're back-to-back winners. 9-3 their last 12 conference games. 8-3 their last 11 as an underdog. 7-3 on turf. 9-4 the last 13 overall. I'm not going to bet against that. I'm not saying Illinois is a play here for me today, because Iowa does bring a lot to the table on the other side, whereas Nebraska didn't bring a lot to the table at all, which justified that wager. So once again, I'll lay off the game. I'll hope you win. I have nothing on it, but things like that will leave me off of this game. And that's it. So maybe I talked you off of it. Maybe I didn't. So
Probably not.
Okay. All right. So one more college football game on the board, and that is that we're going to cover here today. Then we'll get into some college basketball, and then hopefully Tony will be out there at the field and get us a little update as well. So last game on our board here, A&M -5 at Auburn. The total is 48. A&M 6-1 as a road favorite, so not a bad thing to look at there. But 17-35 versus a team with a winning home record when they are on the road. So that 6-1 as a road favorite kind of almost gets totally crushed. But I guess the 6-1 means that they've done it recently and covered as the road favorite. But I'm not sure if they had the winning home record. We'd probably have to look a little deeper into that. But those are the only couple good things I get for A&M. I get a lot of under for A&M, but an over in the head-to-head matchup. And the road team has covered 7 out of 8 games. So you got that for A&M. For Auburn, home underdog, 10-3. Like to see stuff like that, 12-4 at home. But Bo Nix, and we've talked about Bo Nix, so I see the under as a play here today. What are you seeing here, Tom?
Yeah, this is again plays into quite a few of these. As you get later in the season, your information builds. So I try to use the information I've built up through the season to get to this spot where I'm going to play Auburn here as the home underdog against a Texas A&M team. I don't think they're as good as Florida, and they beat Florida early in the year. So the way my logic works, at some point, I think Texas A&M is going to slip up under the pressure. I mentioned this as I took LSU, as you recall, last week and got the backdoor cover on some, just lame crap. But Texas A&M did not play that good, and that left the backdoor swinging wide open, and LSU kicked it in and covered. I think A&M is going to have just as tough time here with a team that is better than the LSU team, and that's going to be Auburn at home. Bo Nix, right, he's not that good, and he might not have to do a ton here because I think the Auburn defense is solid enough to make this a knockout, drag-out fight. Last year, Auburn got them 28-20, I think was the score. And you come in here maybe a little lower, but right in that range, Lou. I think you're going to see a tough, grinding SEC battle where being on the road, perhaps Texas A&M makes the mistake that cost them here. We'll see how it plays out, but I think this is a stumbling block for Texas A&M that they're not going to be able to climb over. They're going to get stung here by Auburn. I'm going to take the 5 points because that's the way I like to play it, but a little dib and a dab on this money line wouldn't be the worst bet you make today. That's the way I like to say it. I'm playing Auburn in the points.
Kind of agree with you a little bit on that. I definitely got a little more love on that under. 5 straight unders for Auburn right now. 5 straight unders in conference. 8 out of 10 to the under as a home dog. 18-7-1 to the under following a straight up loss. 27-1. That's 20 unders, 7 overs, and 1 push. Following an ATS loss of the last 28. 42-20-1 to the under on their last 63 games on grass. 6-2 to the over the last 8 meetings. But A&M under 8-3 their last 11 overall. 6-1 as a favorite. 6-0 as a road favorite. 7-3 in the conference. I got to roll with this under here, guys. I got to roll with an under here. Expect those trends to continue here today. Both teams playing in their zone. And, of course, when you're looking at an under, I can't really say that, but when you got an under, the dog, you would think that the dog will have the advantage, but a lot of times, if it's a shorter dog, a short dog, the big favorite, it usually covers with the under. So, so that being said, I think we've went through most of our college football games. We're waiting on Mr. Man on the Street, Tony Cusimano, to get us some update. Okay, so no, I'm going to save that for Tony. Right now, let's go with our college basketball picks. Now, yeah, Eugene, put them on the screen. These college basketball picks right now, 70 winners, 50 losers, and 7 pushes. So, and today's plays are right there on the schedule. And let's see, I had some massive line movements on these games now, and I'm getting a lot of traction on these plays, whether they're correlated or not. I don't give a shit. End of the story is I'm getting you the moves before they're happening. So, and let's see where we're at right now. Northwestern is now at 31. So I did not get you the move there, but that opened up at 35.5. So it was already going down before I put that out at the 32. So Arizona minus 11.5, and currently Arizona is, why can't I find them easy? Oh, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough to do. I don't have the game numbers, but if you, I know, well, the line has changed since then. 11.5, Ball State minus 6. These were the overnights. Unfortunately, I don't have the updates. It's supposed to go in order, but it's really struggling with me to find the order here.
There's too many games to try to do that, Lou. Yeah, there's a lot of games today.
Yeah, there are a lot of games. So, but I would, when I go down, I do it down the schedule on purpose so it's easy for me to find. But I guess I need to write the game numbers. But the game numbers, I don't. And they get to the extra games and all that stuff too. And that's where most of my plays, a lot of my plays do come in on those extra games. Virginia Commonwealth, I gave out at 15. They are currently now at 14, so going against me there. Providence, I gave out at 18. Now it's at 19. Arkansas, I gave out at 16, still 16. And believe St. Louis still at 33.5. So not too much movement right now. I guess I opened my mouth and nothing moved. So, but whatever. At the end of the day, 70 winners. And Kansas, they're minus 23. They're now minus 24. Got you a little point on that one. At the end of the day, 70 winners, 50 losers, 7 pushes. These games are free. I can't really sell a package that has so many games. Well, I guess I could sell it a one-time fee. I may do that a little bit later because guys are winning. I got a lot of traction on it, but I hate to pull the rug from out underneath people. So, let's kind of ride this. They're free. They're out there every day, and I'm doing them at night. So you can bet them early, BettorCenter.com on the Facebook page. And it's a nice, easy little system, guys. I'd love to tell you, but then I'd have to kill you, So, all right, how's Mr. Cusimano doing? We got him out on the streets there, Eugene. Tony Cusimano, our man. He's setting up. All right, so I wanted to have him in on this little thing that I got going here. If you watched the show yesterday, we showed a little video. So, but while Tony's setting up, we'll have the other Tony respond to this video. Go ahead, Eugene.
Here's how the NFL's rigged. Baltimore is plus 10.5 points, and Pitt clearly is dominating the game. Tell me what you think. Oh, get him. Oh, get him. Oh. And there you have it. Las Vegas wins.
All right, Tony, what are your thoughts?
I think it's just some guy with sour grapes, man. Here's what I've always said about these people with the fixed game, especially with the high money pro games. what are the logistics? Who are you paying? Who's collecting? It's ridiculous to think that that's just a crazy play that happens when you lay too many points. If you're not able to cover the barn door, every now and then something's going to sneak through and kick you in the ass. And that was the play. That's why I did not touch that game, because of that play. And I knew it could happen, and it happened. And people just have sour grapes because of it. And you see it online all the time. It's almost like the train that never fails to come, and it's always on time. Right after a crazy play, the people are whining about a game being fixed. That's what I think about that, Lou.
Okay. So you don't think that it's not, I don't see it as sour grapes because I have Baltimore. And I just can't believe that. I can't believe that
he made
quarterback
dude,
died.
Hey, you look at the play. The guy made
toward the end zone. I get that. I'm talking about him diving to make that play. That was a joke.
Right.
That's
so are you saying he was paid? That's what I'm saying. The logistics in that. So what happened? They sent a signal. They told him, okay, miss this tackle on purpose. He's going to make a throw here. You know, how did they? What's the logistics? Listen, it just doesn't make sense to conceive it.
Who controls the money? Who has all the money? When everybody bet Pittsburgh. When everybody bet Pittsburgh.
Right.
Takes it
and that's why they weren't up enough. I could see it coming. I mean, I think as a gambler, I could see that coming at the end.
If Pittsburgh covers, who takes it in the shorts?
The people that bet on Pittsburgh. That's who. But at the end of the day, look at Vegas's numbers every year. On the straight bets at minus 110, they're going to clear 5%. It all washes out every year. That's like the most consistent number in Nevada sports books, is the percentage of money they profit off the handle of straight bets, minus 110. The parlays fluctuate up and down. Sometimes they do real good on the parlay, sometimes not as good because a few people hit. But the straight bets is like water off a waterfall, as consistent as rain. And I just don't buy. To me, you have to almost lay out the logistics of how it works step by step. When does that player know and is told that that's the play call, that they're going to throw an out to the sideline? I want you to dive and miss. You know, this is what the play that's going to happen. How is that coordinated? It's just too much for me to believe. And the way people talk today on social media, how many people are going to have this information and be able to keep their mouth shut in perpetuity? It's going to get out there, Lou. It's just, to me, it doesn't make any sense.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you something. What do you think of the election?
I think they probably
was it legit?
Stuck the ballot box in Philly, which they always do. There was a ballot dump in Detroit. I think, but you got to be able to prove it. You literally have to be able to walk into a courtroom with a stack of people's votes that are invalid and prove it. That's the problem. It's the standard of proof.
That wasn't my point.
Right.
That wasn't my point.
But you know, it's like public opinion and being able to prove it.
No. I mean, forget about it. You have to prove it.
It could be fixed, Lou. It could be a fixed game. But how did that player know to dive then? How did he know that?
Well, you know,
who told him?
I believe Burfict came out a couple years ago and said that the NFL is scripted and they're under a TDA or a NDA where they're not allowed to disclose things. And that thing got buried real fast. Okay? So, you know, if that little blurb came out,
Right. I just wonder how they passed the information. How is it? What technology or running messenger?
How did the Democrats pass the information?
Because if it's on text,
how did the Democrats do it? Signs and symbols rule the world.
Right. I'm saying, are they going to whisper it in his ear? I mean, I step by step. If somebody could lay out in logical form, I'll buy into it. But I need to see the step-by-step process in which this information is moved around.
That's what.
To eventually it ends up as a player.
Stop. You need to see tough shit. Tough shit that you need to see it. These are fucking. It doesn't. Tough shit. You either have to think for yourself, or you have to beg. You have to beg for the truth, just like the real world. You either have to think for yourself, or you got to beg the fucking lying media. You got to beg them for truth. The fucking liars.
The
Listen.
media are liars. I agree. I don't believe nothing the media says because they're paid propagandists. But that has nothing to do with how that player on the field knows to dive and miss the tackle to allow
what
the.
what you're saying is that it doesn't seem probable. You're saying
I just need to know how it's done. I know it could be done.
No shit, you need to know. No shit. Who cares? You need to know. They don't give a shit what you need to know.
I know they don't.
They don't care.
I know that. But that's what it takes to convince me, you know. I'm a tough nut to crack anyway. But once I crack, I never go back the other way.
Do you see how you read between hold on. Do you see how you read between the lines with the coaches? And when you said that coach said, I forgot the exact words, and that to you means that they want to run up the score.
Right.
Florida. Okay.
Right.
You read between the lines.
I'm using logic to understand how it happens, though, Lou.
Okay.
They're telling them,
right.
See the information exchange from the committee to the coach. You know the coach is going to tell the team. There's a logical chain of command. Because what we're talking about is information, Lou. For the player to know that he has to get up to play. So how does the information go from Vegas to what this is the theory people are giving me.
Whoa. How does it go from Vegas to the field?
Listen, Vegas
you don't think they know
Listen,
the answer.
Let me follow the logic chain, Lou. Vegas is the one that needs the result to happen, right? Because of the money bet. Vegas needs that to happen.
Oh, sure.
So Vegas tells the owners, who tell the coaches, who tells a runner, who gets it to the player. How does that get from Vegas, who needs the result to happen, to the player on the field diving and missing that tackle? I need that information chain. You provide me that information chain, how it gets from Vegas to that player, and then I'll start buying into it. I don't really see the links. The links to me aren't there. I think it's people just pissed that they lost. That's what I see. That's Occam's razor. What's more likely? People are pissed that they lost a bet, or that there's some multi-link of information fix on the outcome of the game. I think the simpler answer are people are just pissed on a fluke play at the end of the game.
All right, so how? The Occam's razor. You know what? And when somebody gives me the Occam's razor, I usually tell them, take that razor and slice your wrist with it, because the Occam's, because you know what? Occam's razor. Occam's razor. So yes, the Occam's razor. Yes, if it's the most simple thing is the most probable thing.
Probable outcome, right? The most probable. Not necessarily. Yes. That's what percentages are, Lou. We know that there's a slim possibility that what we're saying, every single far-fetched theory is right. That there is on the flow chart of possibilities, it's there, but it's a small, very small circle. So you need more.
Okay, so let me ask you something. How big? How about that circle inside the DNC and all their criminal election right now? Okay, now obviously it's starting to rear its head.
Those people are evil people, and we know they're evil people. That's what I'm saying.
Who do you think runs the NFL?
I just don't see
the NFL. You think nice guys are running it?
No, I don't. But how are the players getting in? Just give me the information link. Show me how it's done, and I'll buy into it. I think it's just more of a guy not caring and missed the tackle. That's what I'm seeing. But I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I'm not seeing
that perfect comment again.
Perfect. I know what you're referencing. I know the one you're referencing, Lou. And like I say, that might be incorrect, but we know that dude's kind of not there, right? He's not your best witness. He's not your best witness for.
And that's what these guys do. They bring the worst witnesses forward, and just look at it the same way as the political spectrum. It's the same damn thing. It's all run by the same people. It's all run.
The money,
okay.
You got money. You got the influencers, the people that can policymakers, the actual politicians. So you got the money, the politicians, and the media. Outside, and we know that they're all corrupt, Lou. We know that, but that information is out there, and you can link the chain together without, like I say,
Can
it's
you?
playing
Then you look what
basketball.
Trump's doing. Trump's got them all linked, and he's getting hammered in every court. He's got the links. He's got the evidence. But the corruption is just that fucking
It's when
deep.
it's
And it trickles down to everything.
Inside a
Everything. So
inside a courtroom, the burden of proving it is a higher level than any opinion. I mean, you know that, I know that. When you go to a courtroom,
so
it has
we're gambling.
to be admitted into evidence. It has to meet a standard, Lou. Signed affidavits are good. I agree. Signed affidavits are good, but you're going to have to.
You got video of people. You got videos of people that cleared the room, brought up duffel bags underneath
That's the testimony. We can see the video, but we need that testimony to link that together. That these people were told to leave.
Tony,
and that
let me
may
explain
come
something to you. If you sit
get
down
it
and wait,
right? But it's not going to get reversed.
Wait,
it's not going to get reversed before January 2021. It's just not. It's going to take too much time to prove it in court.
So at the end of the day, was it rigged?
I think so, but you're not going to be able to prove it in time. The result's going to be.
Guess what?
Biden.
Listen,
it's not going to reverse the
You're
outcome
not getting proof. You're not getting, just like a fixed game, you will not get proof. You have to think for yourself.
That's not
okay. So now maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on that play there.
This is what they're going to ask you in court, Lou. What's the remedy? What do you propose we do? What's the remedy you seek?
Oh, I'm not seeking a remedy. I don't give a shit. Fix the fuckers all you fucking want. I don't give a shit. You go be the fucking scumbags you want to be. What do you want me to do? I got bigger fish to fry than the fixed NFL games.
Biden's going to be president, and they're going to say, "Do you want us to make Trump president?" That's what I'm saying. That's what they're going to ask you in court. What's the remedy you seek of us? And is it going to be to overturn the election?
I don't expect it to go to court. I don't expect any of these. At the end of the day, I don't expect the truth. They have absolutely covered every base. Shenanigans are on every corner. There are no white hats out there. Everything is run by dark hats. The dark hats have had control for the whole time. And guess who runs the NFL gambling? Dark hats. Guess who runs the world? Dark hats. So there's your connection. So you may not get the actual proof, but at the end of the day, just like when you're betting the games, you got to read between the lines. And that's what I'm doing here. I may be wrong about that cornerback making the worst play in the history of the NFL. I may be wrong, but I'm going to read between the lines here. That's what I think. So, all right. So, all right. I got my yah-yahs out on that one.
That was fun. I like talking about.
Thanks for playing, Tony. Thanks for playing.
And Lou, I like to play the devil's advocate. And I think at the end of the day, if you can verbally lay it out against somebody who's logically and coherently arguing against you, that strengthens your case, because that's what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to, maybe I helped to step in there, in your thinking, and that's basically what it all boils down to. At the end of the day, you can believe anything you want, right? Anybody.
That's all you get.
Anybody. Right, exactly. Anybody can believe in it, but that doesn't make it reality. And so you're probably wrong. I'm probably wrong. Everybody else is probably wrong. And reality is somewhere in the middle of where we all think. And that's the mystery. What is that middle point? And none of us know. And I guess that's what always drives the conversation and the conflict, is the not knowing, right?
Well,
that's what drives it. The mystery of it all, the possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
That fuels the conversation.
I guess that's kind of what drives me down a rabbit hole. I mean, that's what drove me into sports gambling. The mystery of being the one to find the code, it's interesting to me that, but unfortunately, That's
They're
it.
in the pot, man.
I know. It's just, you know what? Unfortunately, it went from interesting to a very sad case of reality. So I believe I'm a little closer to the realities than most because I spend my days focusing on our realities along with the games. And that's it. I focus on our realities. I focus on the hustle that's come up against us and the big monster that's about to try to sweep us up with this new world order bullshit. So it all melts together. We are all connected. In my opinion, we are absolutely in a simulation. There's no other possible explanation. So throw that into the football equation as well. There is absolutely no way we are the sharpest, most intelligent beings in this universe. I'll never believe it. I'm looking at this world and we got a lot of idiots. This can't be the smartest thing that's happened in this universe. That's all I'm saying. All right, I'm going off on a tangent. I really want to do this one day, but let's go to our man on the street, Tony Cusimano. Speaking of the streets, hey, Cusimano, what do you got for me today? All right.
All right. Thank you, BettorCenter. Tony C. here, your man on the street. And I am live at Texas Christian University, Amon G. Carter Stadium, home of the TCU Horned Frogs. And I tell you, crew, I'm reading between the lines on this one a lot here as we look at the lines. You know, as the man on the street, everyone that watches our show, they know I travel this country, this wonderful nation of ours. And anyone thinks that Joe Biden got 80 million votes, boy, if I got a bridge in Brooklyn for sale for you, there's fraud everywhere. I travel this wonderful nation, I can tell you that. And for every one person that voted for Joe Biden, 12 voted for Trump that I talked to, and standing in lines at grocery stores in Cincinnati, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with the trike lady, Florida, Atlanta, Athens, Georgia. Anyway, enough of the conspiracy theories and chit-chat. Let's get down to business here. Texas Christian University, where number 15, Oklahoma State, comes to town here. And a lot's at stake for both teams, believe it or not here. The 4-4 TCU Horned Frogs again play host to the number 15 Oklahoma State Cowboys, both coming off of big wins last week. We'll start with the road team. Oklahoma State coming into this one, they had to come out with a win last week at Texas Tech, and boy, did they get it. And the surprising hero in all of this was Desmond Jackson, the freshman running back who rushed for over 200 yards at Texas Tech. So I would expect a big game from him. And, of course, you know, Spencer Sanders, the Oklahoma State quarterback, he's going to have to come up big today because the TCU defense, they're stingy against the pass. I don't think they're going to put 54 points on the board in this one. So, again, OK State 6-2. They have to win this one. The pressure's on them to come up with a road win. They've got to keep up with the quote-unquote Joneses, which is Oklahoma, who played Baylor. Okay, so they'll need help from Baylor to stay in tune with Oklahoma as far as winning the Big 12 West. Now, Oklahoma State, they allow 24 points per game average. Texas Christian, 26 points per game. And as you can hear in the background here, the band, everyone's getting ready here at the tailgating and everything. In fact, that's why you guys kept me on hold. So you hear some noise in the background here. So 24 points per game. OK State allows TCU 26 points per game, and that's where we come up with that 2.5 spread, plus 2.5 to the home team, over and under 51.5. I could see this sliding a little bit. I could see this thing coming. It's going to be close as far as the total looks. As far as the spread goes, we have to give credit where credit is due. Texas Christian, yes, they are 4-4. They've won, 3 of their last 4, but look at who they beat last week on the road. Kansas, they beat Kansas. They had Matt Dugan, the sophomore quarterback. He had 3 completions last week. Only 3 completions, and all 4 for touchdown passes against a very weak Kansas team. So 4-4 TCU, 6-2 Oklahoma State. By the way, TCU added a game to their schedule. They've lost a few in the mixer with the coronavirus. They've added a game next week against Louisiana Tech because they want to get into the 5-win club. And that 5-win club could possibly get them into some postseason play with a bowl game. So here's what we have. Sophomore quarterback Matt Dugan with TCU. and a very strong run game. Remember, TCU, 60% of their offense, they run the ball. And then we've got Oklahoma State, where they've got a very diversified offense. They're going to have to stop the run. Their defense is a little weak on the run. I see them putting up a fight here, but in the end, I would have to say after the third quarter, Oklahoma State probably pulls away, and that's why they're ranked 15th in the nation. If I could throw it back to the studio and get some feedback from the White Capper and Mr. Louis Bag of Diamonds, tell me what you think. As you'll see filtering in behind me, you see a lot of TCU fans now coming into Amon G. Carter Stadium. Take it away, crew.
All right, so there's a little TCU action from our man on the street, Mr. Tony Cusimano. I see a little undering happen here, Cus, and I got TCU 8-10 to the under their last 10 December games, 7-1 to the under 7-1 to the over as a home dog, but that's about the only spot for TCU as a home underdog. 16-5 after allowing less than 100 yards in a rushing game to the under, and 5-2 on the grass. Okie State, they've been pretty solid under this year. I know in the beginning of the season, Okie State over at home. Here they're on the road, 9-1 to the under in December, 5-1 following an ATS loss, 5-1 to the under on the road, 9-3 to the under the last 12 overall. So I got to believe we got some under action here on this game, Tony. Goose or Gulledge, either one. Gulledge, what are you thinking here today? Anything?
I had an opinion on this game, Lou, and I was probably going against our man on the street, so we'd have like a conflict. I think Oklahoma State, they didn't cover last week, 50-44 win. I just looked it up against Texas Tech. And that's coming off the loss to Oklahoma, which in Bedlam, which we had. I was on that one, Oklahoma. So I think the probability here is you're going to get Oklahoma State still being able to outmatch a team that they're better than. I think TCU has struggled when they played the better teams. My gut, and I didn't bet this game, but my gut is that Oklahoma State will get the best of them.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so I like the under. Now, all that being said, we've had a long show here today. Let's just wrap this thing up, and you got an interesting play for us here today. I mean, we've given out a lot of picks.
I'll tell you what I was going to do. I was just going to go to my college basketball real quick and just say 25-13-1, so just under 67% overall on the season. Best bet 7-3, dead on 70% in the early stages of the season. And I'm going to give you my best bet here on the show. I'm going to go. I got number 648 is the best bet. That's going to be Hofstra, and that's going to be my most interesting play in college basketball. And don't ask me the specifics. I didn't write all this down, but I'll just give you the play. Number 648, Hofstra is my play. 7-3, 70% on my best bets in college basketball this season.
All right. Listen, we've been cashing, guys, so hopefully you've been cashing along with us. Hopefully you'll cash along today, and we will hopefully see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Pacific time. Long show today. We'll keep it short tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see how much kind of action. I got something real sweet in the NFL tomorrow. Got some juicy numbers. Can't wait to share them with you. So thank you again, Tony, for joining us. And thank you, Eugene, for sticking with us a little longer here today. And I will see you tomorrow morning on BettorCenter Live.